Hello, Nyojo, and welcome. And we are live today here with Panya. And today's topic of conversation is a journey of being the story. Success starts here because we all know that when we start something new, we are our own story, we are our own journey, and especially it all ends up being our own success because we, as individuals, we thrive to want to create something for ourselves, not just us. If you are a parent, if you are an aunt or an uncle, you know you have little ones, little generations that are looking up to us to start something new for them, to build a foundation so that they can one day be able to achieve greatness just like how we are today. So today I have a special guest here with me that will be sharing her journey along her success and where she is today. And let me bring her on stage. Hello, thank you for joining me today. Can
Thank
you
you.
share with our audience who you are, a little bit about yourself, and where you're streaming live from?
Um, I start. My name is Abby. I'm streaming from Canada. Basically, I have been in the financial sector for about 10 years. I recently migrated to Canada, let's say 4 to 3 years ago. Before you migrate, you have this big dream in your head. It feels like when you leave your home country, that is where your success will lie. Things will get better, different. Because truthfully, we don't want to leave our home country. We're just really chasing a better life, especially for those of us that have kids. You don't want your children to go through like the hardship, so to speak, especially in finance. Sometimes you find out that, oh, people are living a certain kind of life, not because they necessarily have wealthy parents and all of that, but because of the choices they've made. And then you tell yourself, oh, so when I relocate, I'm going to be able to, do better. I'll have more money. I'll do all that. So coming to Canada, my reality was different. I knew, okay, I wasn't going to live in this country and after 10 years, I would still be in that financial struggle and race. I didn't want to do that, which as well led me. I still work in pension industry, but it led me into like a personal like vendetta of it is me and my finances. I want to do better with it. I don't care what my paycheck says. What I care about is something that is mine. I don't have the skill of knowing how to start a fashion business, knowing how to start a cosmetic business. I know that those things are not for me. So I knew, okay, what do I do? So that was what chased me to this business. It started like, can I do this? Oh, I'm not a social media person. I want my privacy. A lot of people didn't even know I'd relocated to Canada. That's how private I wanted my life to be, but nothing changes if nothing changes. So I had to change to be that person that I did my findings. I knew, okay, you can't want something and be hiding in somewhere. You have to put yourself out there for the things that you want. So basically, it became okay. How do I get this done? How do I separate myself and be able to chase the business? I did my findings. It typically was, oh, I knew, oh, this business is what I want to do. How do I then do it? Started a different journey for me. So far, I've just been a couple of months in the business, but if I'm not sure of anything, one thing is certain, I have found that thing that would give me that financial freedom, that time freedom, that present mom that I want to be. This is it. I will apply myself and I will get there. Rome wasn't built in a day, right? And like I tell other people, like my leads and all, I said, this is not magic. You have to put in the work. We are not saying, oh, give us this money so that we'll return so investment to you. It doesn't work like that. It is you owning something that is your own. You need to build it for yourself. So if you're ready to build something that you can call your own, then you're welcome.
Wow, thank you, Abby, for sharing. That is so powerful for someone who just started the business just a couple months ago.
Yeah.
You definitely have a strong mindset already coming into this business. And just listening to you speak brings out so much in just reminding me that everything happens for a reason. Meeting you happened for a reason, right? So I'm so glad to have you here today on my podcast to share your personal journey with our audience today and to be able to tell your side of the story, right? Because we all know that as business owners, nobody will want to share their success. Nobody will want to share their secret, right? The secret
Yeah.
ingredient to being successful,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of where you are in life, right? Because we all know that we all come from different levels of life, like where we are financially, where we are personally, where we are professionally. And just being able to hear that little short intro from you, it's like, wow. I was just sitting here sitting amazed, like I wish I had that mindset when I started my online business and being able to just keep trucking along. Um, so with that being said, you shared a little bit about the types of businesses that you would be able to want to go into or not go into. This talks a little bit more about what was your pains or struggles before you started our online business.
Um, I would say first thing was the weather here. It's so cold, and to wake up each day and you have to step out in that snow, the bad road. I think in 2022, I was pregnant. I had an accident because of the bad road and, the fogginess and all of that. And I told myself, no, I'm a mom. There has to be something out there that I can do, especially post COVID that introduced us to, the remote life, letting you know that a lot of things can be done in our comfort, not like you never want to step out, but you just know because you have kids, you like even leaving them at home sometimes. It's not always convenient having someone to watch them and all of that. You just, that one thing, I can be a present mom and still be able to be a working mom. I'll say that that's what really chased me into looking for something else. Other than the financial breakthrough and everything that will come with it, I feel like the growing up years of my kids is like the most important, that's like what is lacking in our society these days. Both parents are chasing the money, they're chasing the career and all of that. I want to sit home, raise my kids, shape them into the kind of people that I want the society to meet, right? But to do that, you need time. And the bills and expenses don't even wait. They don't care if you're a new mom or you're bringing in new people into the society that needs to be shaped in a certain way. The world doesn't care about all of that. So that was part of my reason, most importantly, aside all of the finances and all, I wanted to be a present mom.
Yes, that is very true. A lot of us nowadays see how much we struggle or how much our parents struggle just being able to bring us up. And now that we have little ones of our own, aside from financial, we want to be present. Present is something that our online business allows us to have
Yep.
flexibility and being able to create our own schedule. Because that's probably the biggest thing that we have to learn as parents is that time will slip away before we know it, especially when we have little ones, right? And being able to be a part of their journey is just like how we start our own journey in building an online business. We reach out to others for help on parenting, right? And that kind of ties into our online business is that we are so global that we come from different um, parts of the world, just like how I am streaming from the US and you are streaming from Canada.
Yeah.
And yet we are still under the same umbrella of the website. I mean, not website, sorry, online world, right? Being able being able to work while we're at home with our little ones and still have our source of income come in. it's just something that some of us find it hard to believe, right? Because we're just so afraid. Because earlier you mentioned being afraid, right? Or being fearful of things. And how did you help shape your mind about being fearful of the online world before you started or while you started our online business?
Um, I keep telling myself everything can be a lie. So there has to be that one thing or more than one that is the truth, that is legitimate. Because you see a lot of people these days fall into this, the fraudulent things that go on online. Even like on TikTok, for instance, you could have someone just chat you up and say, oh, I do this and that, can you just click this link? Those things are not true, right? But one thing that struck me about this business from the start was when I was watching the webinar, and they kept saying that if this business is not for you, you have a chance to request for a refund. And it struck me, like, how many businesses these days will tell you, oh, you can come and go and think about it, come back and tell us if it's not for you, and then we'll refund you. For me, that's one thing that I told myself, I will keep digging. I will not let doubt and fear be the reason why I don't do this again, because there are so many things. Like, it's a lot online these days, and you see it and you'll be like, we don't even know which is true. You don't even know which. We don't want to lose money while looking for money, right? So that's one thing I think struck me, and the fact that at the end of the year you get your T. I think it's T4 in Canada, and I'm not sure what it is for you in the US. You get your tax document to file your tax. Those things just tell you, you know what, there's something true and real about this. And you have people who have done it for 5 years, 8 years. Nah.
Yes, that is true. We are a legit company or business because we get our tax forms. Here in the US, it's 1099, I think. I always forget those numbers. I always get them mixed up because there's just so many tax numbers, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, that's one thing that a lot of audience or a lot of outsiders tend to not know about because they don't take the time to invest and they don't take the time to ask those questions. And I, for one, was one of those, right? A very, very long time ago. And just being able to hear from other business partners and by watching other business partners, I was like, oh, eventually I start to have that confidence in myself too. And that fear slowly gets taken away or gets stomped on because I'm doing my research. I'm listening, just like how you shared earlier, and everything in between. And don't be one of those fence setters and
No.
just assume you know things, right? Oh, I don't want to follow them or I don't want to listen to them. I don't want to pay the 149 because it's just scam, right? You never know until you click that button. Sometimes, like you said, you gotta be safe, but you just gotta be proactive, right? Do your research, like Abby shared, and then you'll know. And then for a business to say it's refundable, yes, we don't see that too often. Then
No.
you kind of be like, okay, if it's not saying anything we're refundable, then you kind of want to be able to check a little bit more carefully. All right, Abby, before we sign off, um, is there an advice that you would like to share with our audience today?
I would say that everything that you want, that life you're looking for, it's at the other side of the fear. You just have to
Mm.
take a leap and go through it. Like, you can want something and not want to take a step. Everybody you see today that are financially free, every known person that they say, oh, it's a billionaire, is on Forbes, is this, they've taken one risk or the other. So one thing I keep telling myself in this business is this is not even a risk. See, for instance, whatever you invest, you have it back right in front of you looking at you. It's not for anybody. If it's not in form of resources, it's in form of products that is given to you to use. So I mean, there's no risk without a reward, I would say. So if you're taking a smart risk, be rest assured that there's reward at the other side of it. So if you've been thinking, oh, is this for me? Should I do this? Do I want to do this? I promise you, if you don't pay the 149, sometimes you spend more than that on just girls hangout. You won't even be able to account for it. You still won't do anything. By the way, in 1 year you wouldn't have known if it was true or not, and you would have spent more than 149 on something that doesn't even have a return. So take that fear, invest it into your research, and click that website that is provided for you today. And the other side of your fear is where the benefit are. You just have to take the leap of faith.
That is one great advice. Taking the risk, because you never know what that risk would land you on. Abby and I are both living proof that we took that risk. We are here today. We're sharing our knowledge with you guys because we just know how great this online business is just for us, and it might be for you as well. So like as Abby shares, sign up with us and let us know, or ask us questions, connect with us via by PMing us or leaving us a comment, and we will both love to connect with you and answer any questions that you guys may have. Well, tomorrow night we do have our live webinar going on. Sign up
Yes.
in one of our landings, our website, and you guys will get the information, and it's free. And like Abby said, if you feel like you want to take the next step, take the next step, because we will be here to answer any questions that you guys have. All right. So with that being said, I just want to say thank you to our audience for tuning in live or catching the replay later. And we hope you guys were able to take away one little nugget tonight about being your own story, because it starts with us. Well, with that being said, have a good day. We'll catch you guys later. Bye bye.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye.